Hi and welcome back. I'm Mary Jo, also known as Sojo, and this is my channel where I talk about all my quilty stitchy things. And today is my weekly update, number 34. Today is September 24th, 2023. So, it's been a week. It's been a much better week than previous weeks. But let me show you what I got done. There's several things. Alright, now last week I had shown that I had bound this quilt and I needed to put some buttons on it. So I put these little bee and ladybug buttons throughout the quilt. So let me hang it up and we'll take a look at it. And here it is. I've got those little buttons of bees and ladybugs on the flowers sewn throughout the quilt. And it was quilted with a butterfly pantograph. I finished the binding last week. And I just sewed them on in different areas in the flowers. And we'll take a look at that label. And there's the label. And there's that look at it hanging up behind me. Now, what else did I do? Well, I finished this. I'll hang it up in a second. But this is going to hang up on the wall and hold some of my rulers and templates that I have for quilting. So I've got all these vinyl pockets that I made throughout. Now, I had shown previously where I had quilted this on the long arm several weeks ago. In this daisy pattern. And this pocket in particular over here, I did not sew these down because these were supposed to be for longer rulers. So you could fit through and go through there. I'll hang it up in just a second. But this was a Creative Notion subscription bag project. And I finished it. I even put the grommets in at the top. And this was a pin that came in the subscription box. I don't really do much with pins, so I just stuck it in there. And here it is hanging up. I did stick a few little rulers in it. And so I'm going to put a bunch more rulers in it. And I've got to get some hooks for the wall, and I'm going to put it over there where that picture is. So that was my plan. I was either going to put it where the picture was or where my sewing machine is, but where my sewing machine is, the sewing table kind of comes out, so I think I would have a hard time getting the rulers that I need when I need them. So I think I'm just going to slide it over there. So what else have I done this week? Well, as far as piecing goes, I started making this. And this is the Dashing Star block. This was just a kind of a test block for me to use with a pack of 2.5-inch strips. And I've done a couple videos. And here's where I am with making that. So I've got to finish sewing all those blocks together, which I'll be doing more videos until that quilt top is finished. And when I'm done with that, I have my Cotton Cuts Gnomes that I'll be doing videos on after I'm done with that Dashing Star quilt. There are those gnomes. The apples. Now, I'm not sure what this is supposed to be other than it matches those hats. I don't know if it's just, I don't know. Okay. So moving along, let's show you what else I worked on. Now, I've worked on, since I finished that ruler holder, I got my next Creative Notions subscription box out, which this is from July 2021. And what I'm doing with this is there's a bunch of different bag zipper pouches I'm making. Now, I'm not making these, but I am making these different zipper pouches, and there's some on the back, different patchwork in it that I'm doing. Now, I did use my foam to make those, and I have like all these different pieces out. Now, this one I'm just going to do some cross-hatch quilting on and then put it together. But the rest of all these, my big pile here, I think there's 5 different ones, I've got pinned together, ready to start piecing. Some of it I'm just kind of doing a quilt as I go type thing, and I'll sew those down. Others I'm piecing first. So there is a bunch of different ones in here. There's 5 different ones. So I cut all of that out. And my other Creative Notions box, I'm still working on. Let me see if I can pull this out. Where I had made these subscriber blocks. And all the blocks are done, and now I'm just putting it into a quilt top. And so I have got the sashing pinned, got these rows pinned. It's all pinned together there. And then I'm going to add borders, and that will be done. So yes, all of those rows are just pinned together there. So I worked on that. Now with this subscription bag, this particular one came with like a machine mat pattern, that kind of stuff. I didn't want to do that, so I just made the blocks and turned it into a small quilt. All right, so I worked on those. I did more. So I worked on a sew sampler project in stitches, and I have the rows pinned together, and there's a bunch of these rows. So there's my pins. I have to pin all those rows together, and then I can start joining the rows into a quilt top. And there's my pile going on. I got all those rows there. Let's see which box this was. This was August of 2021. So I worked on that. I worked on another sew sampler project, which is the star flower. The insert's going on this, so I don't know what box this was. And I'm working on adding top and bottom border. See, there's the side, there's the top and bottom border I got pinned. If I flip it up, it's a little bit about what it will look like. So I worked on that. Let me fold it back up here. Here we go. So, yep. So it looks like I have another white border to go around it. After that, so I worked on those, and I worked on more. I have another sew sampler project I worked on, and I worked on this summit. I got all the blocks sewn, and I'm just working on sewing those blocks together into that finished quilt top. And this is September 2021. Oh no, I'm sorry, I don't have the blocks sewn together. I've got them pinned together. I was thinking I had them blocks already sewn, but I don't. I just have to make these last two seams, and then all the blocks will be sewn together. So, we got that one, this one. I know these are all in order, so I don't want to mix them up. There. And then I think they all start over. So, those, I worked on those. I worked on more. I did more. Then, I worked on this double take pattern. And this one, I got the rows pinned together. So here's a look at those rows. And I got all my rows stacked up, ready to go. They're all stacked up, ready to sew. So I worked on that. And I did more. Now these I still need to press and pin the next steps on, but I did sew. So I worked on this sew sampler project, which is unraveled. Now the quilt, the center of this quilt top's been done for a while. I just got several borders to add. I think I still have 4 more borders to add. And this was the June 2021 box. So, I added the blue border. So here's what it's looking like so far. Now, I still have to press that blue border and then add the next. Got all of that done. So that's where am on that project. And I worked on one other thing as far as sewing goes. This kit and caboodle pattern. Now, it is not the Halloween fabrics that I have. And this was actually a kit that I had bought from Tree City Stitches over in Indiana. And I am working on sewing. I sewed these small 4 patches. Now I'm working on sewing those in together to make this bigger 4 patch right there. So I sewed these all together. They're in a big long chain. And yep, so now I just need to join these two together to make all those other blocks. And these are the other large blocks that will be joined with it. More like a woodland theme. There, and I have this block here, which will replace one of the bigger blocks. All right. So that's everything I worked on as far as sewing and quilting this week. So, we're definitely having some more fall-like weather here lately. Now, I know a lot of people like fall. And while it's nice to have the cooler weather, with fall, it's always like it brings illness. I don't like that. And the allergies. I know my son has been sick for a couple days. Just some minor illness. He'll be fine. But I don't know. Let me know. Do you like fall? Do you not like fall? I'm not so much of a fan just because it always brings on the illness. All right. Now, what else did I work on? Cross stitch. Let me show you what I did on cross stitch. Now, yep, I'm still working on this big band sampler, and I will be for a while. Last week I just started working down here where these bulbs and candy canes are. And now I am down here. I've almost got the second angel done, which is right here. So this is on 16 count Aida, and it is a very big project. Though big, in fact, I had to work it on 2 different pieces of fabric. So I always start by showing this first piece, which has been done all the way down. Here we go. So that's the first piece. And then we got the second piece. Start up here and roll my way down here. There's the top, working all the way down. So I got this first angel stitched in the heart, and I'm working on this second angel. Now, this second angel, when I'm done, it means I'm halfway done on this piece. 3/4 of the way done for the whole project. So, we are getting there. So that's what I did in cross stitch. Crochet. Let me show you a little bit about my crochet. Now, I had bought these little kits from Hobby Lobby, I don't know, probably about 2 years ago or so. And I was doing this one. Now, what I will say about these kits is they never have enough yarn. I'm always running out of yarn. So I'm always having to supplement with yarn that I have stashed away or some scrap yarn. And that's exactly what happened with this little dog here, this puppy that I was making. Now, I've got all the pieces crocheted together. I just haven't actually sewn them together. So let's see. That's the body, that's the head. Here's like the head. It doesn't have any stuffing in it, so it's kind of weird shaped. And the nose will go on in here. And then I've got a spot. And then, let's see. And then a spot over here somewhere for an eye. And here are the little safety eyes and nose that I'll put on. Let's see what else we got going on here. These are the 2 little ears. And, oh, this is the tail. I was like, that arm looks awful short. That's because it's a tail. There's the tail. And, let's see. These are the 2 front legs. Now, as I said, I inevitably run out of yarn. Right here, this yarn is different than this yarn. because I ran out of that white. So this is different. But, you know, a lot of dogs have different colors or shades. So I went with that to finish the front paws. So I had to use this for the back paws. So like I said, that's the different, oops, there we go. So this is the different yarn here, the one that was supposed to be, but I ran out. Had to use this white for the front paws. And then when I got to the second back paw, I didn't have enough tan. So I just made it all white. So I have all of those pieces crocheted together. I just have to start stuffing and sewing all the pieces. So yes, that is what I think about these patterns, is they don't give enough yarn, or these little kits from Hobby Lobby. And I think there's only been maybe 1 or 2 that I've had enough yarn to finish the whole thing. But that's okay. We'll make it work. Oh, yes, and the scarf that went around the dog is right here too. So I plan on finishing that this week, and then I'll start on another crochet project. And one other thing, I finished this small little diamond painting. There it is. Now, I bought this when I first found out about diamond painting. Let's see what happens. So I did it, and I have since found out these small ones, they don't really show a lot of detail that the bigger ones do, but that's okay. I did it. All right, so that's everything I've worked on this week. All right, till next time.